Is that time of the morning, evening, afternoon, depending on which part of the world you are, guys? Yes, yes, yes. Right now, check your clocks. Check your clocks. It is 4 after 7 Central African time, and good morning to everybody else in Africa. While here in North America, it is 4 minutes after 10 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. But according to my guest time, it is 4 minutes after midnight. Yo, thank you for coming through, QC. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
No, actually, you're an hour behind, right? Yeah. Why did I?
I'm actually here. It's actually 9:05 p.m. We're 3 hours behind Eastern Time, New York. So
Oh,
New
yes.
York is New York is midnight. I'm on the West Coast, California time.
Right. For some reason, I'm thinking too. Because I was talking to somebody else who was supposed to have next week. But anyway, that's besides the question. Thank you so much,
Sure.
my child, for coming through. And it's such an honor to have you here.
Super, super glad to be here. It's one of my first actually like radio interviews I've ever done just in my life. So I'm super, super stoked to be here.
I feel honored right now. Thank you.
I feel honored as well, so it's two-way street.
Right. No, that is so awesome. So just to dive into our questions, I know a lot of people have been wondering, okay, Thulani, Kachingwe, people have
Yeah,
questions, and some
of
people
course.
know you and some people, I believe, don't. But speaking of which, bring our audience up to speed with your upbringing and a little bit about your background.
Yeah, of course. So I was born in DeKalb, Illinois, which is a little bit next to Chicago, which is in like the middle of the United States.
Mhm.
Um, my older sister is Tinashe, and our father was actually born in Zimbabwe, 1964. Our
Nice.
father was born in Zimbabwe.
What?
So he moved to Iowa when he was 6 in 1970. He moved to Iowa. So our family is kind of just really rooted in Zimbabwe, and our uncle and our aunt are both also living in America, and they moved with my father. So I was born in Chicago, and then my family moved to Los Angeles when I was about 4.5, 5 years
Right.
old, and grew up in Los Angeles. With my younger brother, older sister, my mother, my father,
Uh-huh.
and went to high school there. My sister was into acting with my father, and then she, had a lot of awesome opportunities come into her
Oh,
life, and eventually, made it as super, super awesome like pop star she is to this
yeah,
day.
yeah.
Um, just being, having the manifestation that she did, to know that she had, the talent to be where she is to this day, and
Uh-huh.
the support from family to get her
Oh, yeah.
to kind of where she is. So
Mhm.
it was amazing. And I always was into music as well. I was always just like a beat maker, like producer, and then
Yeah,
I eventually became my own artist, like actually writing music, writing songs, making music with Tinashe,
right.
and finally, eventually, wanted to become like take myself seriously as my own, personal, like professional artist, and so finally
So you actually
released.
didn't take yourself seriously at one point in life?
You know what I'm saying? Like it takes like some click to be like, I'm gonna take myself seriously today. Today's the day
Right.
that I take myself seriously.
Right.
And it was just a few years of just like, finally getting the confidence that like, my music is actually like really good. It
Right.
took me a
Yeah.
little bit to be good at making beats, writing
Yeah.
songs.
Yeah.
So I finally released my first official solo album on October 30th, Cloud9. Talk to us right now.
So
Here we are.
it's been less than 2 months, and we have it. We have it here. We have it, and we're enjoying it.
Awesome. That's amazing. It's
That
amazing.
was so amazing, and it's so lovely though to learn that those who didn't know, this is actually Tinashe's a younger brother. So
Yes.
If you're wondering, okay, family, household name, of course, household name. So amazing. And I didn't realize
That's
that
amazing.
Tinashe
That
actually
is amazing.
started into acting, heading into singing from acting. So did you also have a passion in acting, or it just went straight to singing?
Yeah, I mean, so when I was little, I actually did auditions. Like my dad took us to like some of the auditions that Tinashe was in to like audition to be in the commercial or to
Hmm.
be in, you know, the
Hmm.
little, yeah, like the 30-second commercial. Like just I would
Right,
do a lot of these auditions. I never got
right.
any of them. And then one year I finally got like one commercial, and it was like
What?
a Volvo car commercial. And I
Yeah,
had a
yeah,
big afro,
yeah.
and like I was just smiling in the back seat, and it was a really really fun time. Like I got to skip one day of school, which was like a big deal because like I could never skip school. Like it was like forbidden for me to skip school. So I got to skip school one day, and I got to go film this commercial one time, and it was really fun. And that was the only thing I've ever done with acting.
Really?
Besides like making some, you know, home videos with my brother and my sister, or some videos for school. Maybe we had to create skits or something like that. But pretty
Right.
much, it was just an idea, you know. My sister, my brother, we were always performing, we were always
Nice.
an actor or a character. So we nonstop performances and, you know, artistic adventures with us. It's fun.
So does is it also safe to say that we need to look out for your little brother as well in terms of
Yes,
music?
absolutely, absolutely. Safe to say,
Oh,
look out for Kudzai. He's about to, you know, do
nice.
his thing as well. He definitely has some things up his sleeve in terms of, you know, really putting himself out there as well, like I did, you know, on
Right.
some like taking himself seriously as an artist as well. So look out for him doing a little something as
Yes.
well.
And we hope to have him here on After Five Radio. I'm
Yes,
already booking you,
absolutely,
Kuzi, please.
absolutely, absolutely. I'll be here for the next project.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So, have you ever been to Zimbabwe? And have you ever been to Zimbabwe? Let's start with that.
No, we haven't. We have been planning to go
Uh-huh.
for a long time. Like actually, this year is the 50th year anniversary of my father and his family being in America, and we were planning on either returning to Zimbabwe this year, or, you know, just having a family reunion
All
some way
right.
or somehow.
Yeah.
And, you know, with the virus and everything going on, our the idea of any trip kind of got canceled for us, because you were either going to there or maybe even going to, you know, like some like maybe the Caribbeans or something of just like we needed to have a reunion. And
Right.
so have not been to Zimbabwe. We definitely want to go soon. The closest we've been to South Africa. We've been to Johannesburg and Durban, and that was great. That was beautiful. So
Right.
we tried to go, but we're gonna definitely like be there soon. We definitely want to go there soon.
I am going to be watching out for you.
Of course, of course. We will be like, yeah,
Right.
doing it right for sure. Doing it right for sure.
Right. No, that is so, so awesome and good to know. Yeah, the pandemic did a number on a whole lot of people this year. And it actually it depends on how people took it, because I know a whole lot of people were affected by it mentally. And I hope
Hmm.
people took action on just taking care of themselves in terms of their mental health and stuff like that, right? And with you at
Yeah.
least into music, at least you can soothe yourself with music, produce some beats and
Hmm.
stuff like that, right?
Exactly. Exactly. It's it's a nice kind of way to, when I like at least make music and produce it, you know, takes me mentally to a place that's just like away, I guess, from reality. And it's just in a place of just creativity, and whatever my mood is in, I kind of put it into like a beat, you know, or producer,
Mhm.
or just like as a writer. And this year in particular, like you said, it's an interesting time as an artist, just because I've had more time than usual to myself to be able to be in my thoughts and to kind of really take in what is going on around me and what is happening around the world. And so um, it's been a cool journey this year just to see kind of how we've been strong enough to continue to keep living with all like the twists and turns going on this year, and just kind of seeing things that like we're able to overcome just
Right.
with getting like things coming at us and stuff. So
Right.
yeah.
So speaking of which, let's talk about like your new production, your new album, Cloud Nine. Such an amazing album. And I'm usually not a rap listener, but then I was like, wow, this is interesting, right? It's something that I can actually sit down, listen to, hear the words, and get into it, right? So what
Yeah.
inspired your writing and your production really before getting into your features and all that jazz?
Yeah.
Mhm.
A lot of it had to do with the relationship I was in,
Mhm.
just with um going from, I was in college last year to kind of graduating and then moving back home with my family. A lot
Mhm.
of it, a lot of just my life then, it
Mhm.
was inspiring me, like
Oh, nice.
being away from my family, being with somebody that I loved for like a few years, just us doing our thing, and then moving home, being long distance in a relationship,
Mhm.
being with my family. A lot of that had to kind of do with the writing of it,
Mhm.
and the production was just like, it just comes with the mood I'm in for like whatever day I make that beat, pretty
Mhm.
much. And so a lot of that, the creative process just had to do with whatever mood I was in or
Mhm.
whatever I was kind of thinking that day. And it kind of had to do with just my life the past year. And so, going from seeing a lot of people, being around a lot of people,
Mhm.
to, COVID happening and being kind of at home
Right.
and being with just family, it
Mhm.
kind of pushed me to finish the album on a writing basis and on a production basis, pretty much.
Right. So would you actually consider the album as a healing type of album in a way, or?
It definitely was in a sense, just because it
Mhm.
was a definite release for me, because a lot of the concepts and ideas in the album
Mhm.
were how I felt
Mhm.
then, you
Mhm.
know, a couple months ago. And
Right.
it's healing to get past those ideas and those concepts. Some of
Right.
these beats I was working on for like a year. And so it's really healing to hear the progression from like start to finish of the beat, and then having people hear the actual music and feel some type of way about it. Just like the reaction of it is everything. Like the fact that I can have an interview on, the music that I made of how I felt
Mhm.
past year
Mhm.
is, it's surreal. It's amazing. It's a great feeling. And so um, that's pretty much what inspires my music to this day.
Right. And I bet this album has actually inspired you to write another one to see how successful it's actually becoming. Because I was like, what? When I got the message from like our boss, Anderson is like, Amanda, you need to talk to this guy. I'm like, I just spoke with him. I was like, what? That's Tinashe's brother? What? I didn't realize he was a singer. Send me the album and stuff like that. That's how I got to interact with you and then got to listen to the album. I was like,
That's
okay,
amazing.
it runs in the family. I get it.
Yes.
I get it.
Thank you so much. That's
No, that
awesome.
is so,
Great.
so amazing. And so, how did you get to ask your sister to feature in some of the, like, on some of the songs?
Yeah.
Because it was like a good collaboration. I can tell you
Thank
that
you.
much. Oh, she's amazing. Anyway,
Thank you. She's amazing, first of
she's
all, because and she
amazing.
always did.
Yeah. So, how
Um,
did you get to collaborate with her?
so the song Delilah that was actually playing before this,
Mhm.
we made that song like almost 2 years ago. We made it like a long time ago. I
What?
made the beat, and then me, her, and our little brother Kudzai, we all wrote
Uh-huh.
it together, and we made the song in like one night. And this
Wow.
was like, yeah, like about 2 years ago.
Uh-huh.
And she just kind of, she makes a lot of songs, and only a certain amount of songs kind of make the quota for her album. And
Right.
so this one, she has a lot of good songs. This one didn't officially kind of hit that quota, but it was still a good enough song that we
Uh-huh.
wanted to still release it. And so when I was making the album, I wanted to definitely include another, like that song, because I knew it was a fun song that
Yeah.
would be cool on like a debut album of mine. And so I
Right.
just asked like, hey, can I add this on the album? She's like, yes, for sure. Like the
Yeah.
more music I release is good for me. And the fact that it's a great song, for us, let's definitely release it. So it was natural. And then on Ride the Wave, I actually had that song finished already, with the like Ride the Wave and the hook and the whole beat and everything.
Right.
And for a long time, she just told me that she liked it. And then one day I just asked her, like, hey, do you want to like hop on as a feature? And she's
Right.
like, yeah, I would love to. She hopped on, just like wrote her verse like in an hour,
Yeah.
recorded her verse, and then it was just like amazing. I'm like, yeah, this is definitely the single too.
Wow.
Like this is gotta be the first song I released too.
Okay,
So
this is a question that I ask every musical artist, creative people. Like, I'm a creative too, but unfortunately, I wasn't gifted in that area of creativity. But
hey,
every
everybody
time I
has their own, their own lane, their own gift.
Absolutely, absolutely. And when I hear like good music, that I end up enjoying as somebody who's not musically gifted, I'm like, how did they get to think this is going to be a banger? Or let's put this together. Because you know how sometimes you kind of sound crazy before you put the beat,
Mhm.
the words, right? And then
Yes.
when you put it together, you're like, okay, I think this is a number. So how do you like put it together? Like, help me understand, like for other people as well.
It's interesting for me. It starts as with just like the beat because I'm a beat maker, and
Right.
so it starts with just like if the beat is nice and I like just like the melody of like the
Uh-huh.
instrumental.
Yeah.
I already know that it could be a good song just from the beat
Ah,
starting it out, and so I don't even start writing lyrics to a beat until I know the beat is kind of like finished. And so while I'm making it, I'm not thinking of like the lyrics or anything. And
mm-hmm.
so um, on top of that, and kind of like writing lyrics that are kind of catchy,
Mm-hmm.
I know it's gonna be good too when I share it just like with friends because I know my
Absolutely.
friends have really good feedback for me. They don't leave anything like off the table. They let me know how it is and what it
Exactly.
is.
Like legit.
I can trust them, which is good. Some I don't want anybody to leave anything alone. If it's bad,
Yeah.
I want you to say, hey, that sounds like that. But if it's good, I can tell when they like it. I can tell my friends like the music. And so
Absolutely.
the
Yeah.
fact that a lot of them, when I play it for them, their heads were bobbing or they were
Yeah.
singing along or I could tell their facial expressions. And then I know, ooh, this one might be one of the favorites. This one might be
All
good.
right.
And
Yeah.
so Ride the Wave was one of those.
Uh-huh.
And the fact that Tinashe liked it meant
Uh-huh.
a lot.
Right.
And I'm like, you know what? Why don't you just get on it yourself with your own lyrics? And it
Wow.
just made it even bigger and better.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That is so awesome. So I
Uh,
guess maybe I could, if I try and nurture that talent, maybe.
yes, yeah,
Yeah.
you can.
Because
Anybody can like really
but I'm a
bring
sucker
that
for
concept in.
because I'm a sucker for beats, right? So
Uh
with me, before I listen to the lyrics, it's crazy, it's bad. Even if
huh.
somebody's swearing all the way, I don't even hear that before I hear the beat. Like I'm like into the beat, I'm like,
Yeah, that's how and I have to rewind the song. I'm like, oh wait, I missed this part of the lyric. I was listening to the bongo in the back. Like I have to keep rewinding the song because I'm listening to the beat. I'm not even listening to the lyrics.
no, that is so amazing. That is so funny. Oh my gosh. And it's so good to know. And so what is the most memorable what has been the most memorable time of your career so far, seeing that you're actually just starting up and this is your
Yeah,
new album? You've been doing it for fun and now you've decided to take it seriously. So any memories yet created or
yeah. During this process, of like kind of
Mhm.
becoming
Yeah.
and going from fun to serious, there's been
Yeah.
a lot of amazing moments. A few key moments were when I was in college.
Uh-huh.
I won the contest, which is called Battle of the Bands, the Battle of the Bands contest,
Wow.
when I was a senior in college. And so it's pretty much a bunch of musical artists that have a contest live, kind of like, a live performance contest.
Mhm.
Um, and the winner of the contest opens up for the biggest concert of the year at school. And there's always a big time artist. Tinashe performed one year. Actually, my freshman year, she was the artist that year. They've had, a lot of big time artists there. Like, who was there? Like T-Pain was there. Chance the Rapper's been there. Um, and so I won it my senior year, and I was really proud of myself because a few years earlier, I actually was in the planning process of that concert. I was in like the organization who put the concert on. And so my senior year, I won the contest, and I opened up for Daniel Caesar. I don't know if anybody knows about
Yes,
Daniel
I've
Caesar.
heard of him. Yeah, yeah,
Yes,
yeah, yeah.
very, very smooth cat from America. Like, he's a really nice R&B artist out here. And so that was a very major moment for me. Opened up for my, you know, my school, in front of thousands of people, easily the biggest stage I've ever performed on. That was definitely one of the highlights of my musical career for sure. And then next to that, I was with my sister last year on the run of her tour that went through Asia, that went through China and Japan. And I didn't have my own set as Quiet Child, but during her show, in the middle of her show, I came out as the Quiet Child DJ, did like a 15-minute DJ set halfway through her set to hype the crowd back up. And then she came back out and did like the last 20 minutes of the show that were all like the best songs of the whole set.
Wow.
And we did that for 3 shows. And so we did that in Beijing, in Shanghai, and in Tokyo. And never have I ever been to Asia before, any of those places before. And so I was just super thankful to be with Tinashe doing that. She invited me to come on tour with her to do that. And those were before I really took myself seriously as an artist, now as Quiet Child. And so those 2 big time key moments kind of showed me, hey, I want to keep doing this. I can actually like do this myself. You know, I can really take over the stage.
So now, which brings me to an interesting question. Here we're like, you know what, we're here to break the silence, you know, because right now you just mentioned that you hyped the crowd and all that jazz. And I'm like, so why Quiet Child? Like, why?
Yeah, right?
Instead of Hype Child, like, why Quiet Child?
And so Thulani in Zulu actually does mean like to be quiet, to be comforted. And so as a baby, I was super quiet. Like my parents told me that I rarely ever cried. You know, I rarely ever like really like spit up or like do tantrums in the night. And so, you know, Thulani, quiet, like to be quiet, the comforted one, quiet child. They always called me the quiet child when I was a little baby. And so when I was, I believe in like, I was like 13, 14, when I was like thinking about, you know, being what my name would be as a musical artist, Quiet Child came to mind, is because that was like what my name meant. And I thought like it was ironic because I'm a quiet child, but I'm making music. And so you can hear me speaking and you can hear my emotions and my thoughts through my beats. But, you know, it's ironic, you know, it's Quiet Child, but it's also
that's why I even put that topic to say, no, today we're going to break the silence.
I love that. I love, that topic is great. It could have been better.
I saw you when you actually quoted that as well. And then I went to end, I was like, I got it.
I had to. Yes, I had to.
That is so amazing. So now another question is, you see how the likes of Little Bow Wow, who else I'm thinking, who else changed their names eventually? So you see how they started as Little Bow Wow. Do you think eventually you're going to remove the child part of your stage name at some point?
I've thought about this. You're onto it because I actually have like, you know, thought like when the day that I actually can like, let's say headline my own tours or do my own acting, just like, you know, if I keep going and it's like really successful in the way that I imagine it can be, I would maybe just change my artist name to just my regular name, Thulani.
Nice.
And so I have thought about that, you know, but that's like a goal of mine that like, let me get to a point where now I have to like make a choice, because I'm at this point where it's, who is it? Is it Childish Gambino? Is it Donald Glover? You know, it can be both,
Right.
but
Yeah.
I thought, maybe it might go that way eventually. But
Oh,
until then, it's Quiet Child.
Quiet Child. So
Until
guys, get that
then,
straight. Until then, it is still Quiet Child.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So we just got a question. We just got a question from one of our listeners here. Shout out to you,
Oh,
to my
awesome,
aunt here in Edmonton, Alberta. So she's
awesome.
like, how has COVID affected you as it held your career back, seeing that you're just starting up?
Yes.
Mhm.
It was really interesting because COVID actually gave me a little bit more time to be creative.
Okay.
Because during just before COVID, I would
Mhm.
go into my regular job
Mhm.
a lot of days of the week, and
Mhm.
I would not really have a lot of time take to write music, to make beats, to
Wow.
be an artist. And
Mhm.
so COVID, along with, a lot of people being inside and like
Mhm.
not being able to, perform these songs, not being able to kind of be on a lot of radio shows, not being able to be more outside, it was kind of more difficult in that sense to promote the music. But on the
Mhm.
creative process and just on the being able to finish it, it
Mhm.
gave me a lot of freedom. So it was
Nice.
an interesting time. Like
Mhm.
it definitely had its, downsides, but try to take the silver lining in it that I actually was able to finish the album. So
Right.
now it's kind of all dependent on word of mouth and just believing that, just keep making more music that, eventually it'll just come back around.
Right. Oh wow, that is so amazing. That's exactly I remember when everybody was just like all over social media saying they're stressed and all that jazz. And that is exactly what I thought as a creative to say this
Hmm.
is the moment that people need to look deeper into
Yes.
themselves and figure
Yes.
out what they've been called to do. And I feel like the world being stopped was for everybody to do that, right? Because
Hmm.
everybody's created with their talents, right? It's
Yes.
only a matter of exploring it. And like you're saying, you didn't have the chance to do your writing and stuff like that because of your other work, right?
Uh-huh.
And at least you knew that music was your passion. How about those who didn't know? Maybe this was a discovery
Exactly.
moment for them, right? And I'm like, COVID
Exactly.
it has its ups, but lots
Yeah.
of downs as well. We do not dispute the fact, but I am so glad that you produced an amazing album, and we
Thank you
look
so
forward
much.
to just the growth of Thulani alongside Tinashe, and waiting for Kudzi, out
Yes.
there to say, ah, okay,
Yes.
guys, the Kachingwe family, just watch this, guys, watch this, guys. That is
Yeah,
so amazing.
we're on the way. We're on the way just to, share at least just the gifts that we've been given. Because
Right.
might as well, I can either make music and keep it to myself, or at least just to share it with others.
With the world. Yeah, that is so, so true. So I have a couple of questions before we go. We are kind of running out of time. So
No problem.
what's your favorite way to unwind after a very hard day? Say maybe you've been producing a couple of songs and you're like, oh my gosh, I am so tired. What do I do? Did you play baseball? Don't ask me why I'm asking that question. Or or what's your favorite way of unwinding your hard day?
I mean, I do like watching baseball. Whenever it's on, I do like watching baseball.
So not
Uh,
playing it?
I used to play it when I was younger, when I was little, when I was a younger
Yeah.
kid, like in high school and before high school. Um,
Right.
but I like watching the Dodgers. The Los Angeles Dodgers. They just won the
Right.
championship. Uh,
Ah,
yeah, I like just watching sports. Or um, I've been really into Naruto. I've been watching Naruto, which is actually like an anime ninja show.
mhm.
OG. I've been really into that. Um,
Are you planning on doing voiceover for it
I
or?
wish. I
Uh,
wish. Oh
okay.
man, I wish. Voiceover is actually the thing to do these days during COVID, since
It
everybody's at home.
is. It
As an
is.
actor, doing voiceovers is like big right now in the market, just
Mhm.
because you can film a whole show from your room just on the
Yep.
microphone.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I just chill out pretty much.
Mhm.
Hang out with my family. I got a couple of dogs.
Mhm.
I like to play video games as well. I like to play like NBA 2K. So that's like some of the fun things I kind of do just to relax.
Right. That is so, so amazing and good to know. So, another thing would be, do you collaborate or do you feel like you're going to be collaborating with other artists? Say maybe if there are other Zimbabwean artists who would like to collaborate with you, and what is your process for that? Saying that we know you've already collaborated with your sister, right? Which has been
Yes.
easier to do. But do you look forward to collaborating with others in the future? Say maybe the other Zimbabwean artists listening right now and they're wondering, okay, so how do we collaborate with Quiet Child? What is your process?
Yeah. As a young, fresh artist just trying to, get my foot in the door,
Mhm,
I would love to collaborate with other artists who are in the same boat as I am.
mhm.
And definitely the easiest way to contact me is just through Instagram,
Right.
like on a direct message or through you or through the radio. I have a connection through you or After Five. So if any of if anybody wants to reach out to you or to my Instagram directly, it is at Thulani.qc.
Mhm.
I would love to, I'm an open book, so I read all my messages that I receive. Would love
Right.
to get
Until you start
any.
getting a gazillion of them. Like
Right, and until the day where I have to have somebody else look at them also at the same time.
exactly,
But
right?
until then, I'm seeing every single thing I
Thing
get.
yeah, even with me, I'm like, okay, when is the moment that I'm going to be saying, okay, guys, just hold on, I'll get this to my assistant. I see every
Yeah, my
message.
assistant will take care of it. Just talk to my assistant.
No, that is so funny. That is so, so awesome. And lastly, before we go off, my last question would be, hopefully my last question. Do you think actually, no, 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 no. Yeah, if you had one message to give to your fans, what would it be?
It would be to two things, I guess. To not only believe in that the music that I am going to make in the future is going to be some stuff that you would probably love,
Right.
but to also believe in yourself and whatever you are trying to get at, artistically, in your life in
Mhm.
general. Just believe in yourself, believe in just have passion in what you believe in, I guess, and just know that everything that you want to turn out good is going to turn out good. And so look out for new music coming from Quiet Child, and believe in yourself and
Yeah.
have and end the year on a strong note. 2020 has been a whole year and a half, so finish the year off strong and keep it going.
Right, that is so awesome. So, how about to a person, an artist or fan, or an aspiring artist who does not have the support that you and your siblings got, right, in terms of music or acting and all that jazz, right? How best do you think they can be inspired or motivated on their own, or yeah, how do you think they can be inspired? Because you know, like at least your dad kind of grew up in the States and got
Mhm.
to learn the culture, to understand, to nurture kids kids talent and stuff like that, right? Versus our parents, some of us, we grew up in Zimbabwe and not all of them understand that part of life or
Yeah,
talent. Yeah. So how best do you think we can support those who do not have the support they need?
it's with it's super interesting because I try to really think deep down how these when I write music, how it can really be relatable to everybody.
Right.
And
Okay.
what I really come down to is like whatever I'm my biggest fan, and I think whatever I like when what I create,
Uh-huh.
nobody can tell me that it's not good because I think it's good and it's something that I created. And so I think anybody who's either listening right now in Zimbabwe, in America, in Africa,
Yeah.
just believing in yourself and knowing whatever you like, that you create, you like it, that's all that matters. You know, the opinions of others at the end of the day don't truly matter, because as long as what you think, that's all that really
That matters.
matters, pretty much at the end of the day.
You
And
actually said something that was interesting earlier on, to say, if you don't believe in yourself, how do I expect the next person to believe in me?
yeah, yes, and it starts with that. It starts with that, exactly. And just that concept, you know, the just manifesting just good things to happen. It kind of starts with yourself.
Mhm.
And you know, I, as much as there might be a certain amount of numbers on this person's page or
Yeah.
this person's song,
Yeah.
you know, at the end of the day, numbers don't really matter at the end of the day, because it's just kind of like everybody can determine a number different than this number is different, but
Right.
there's no judging and no opinion when it comes to art that you create, that you
Right.
want to be inspired by yourself. And
Right.
so I was inspired by myself, like for a lot of years, making music as a new artist.
Yeah.
I know a lot of the songs that I released might not even have the amount of streams that big artists have, or even just anybody's whatever numbers are, whatever numbers mean. All
Uh-huh.
that matters to me is that I know the music is good and I like the music. And
Right.
so I will still believe in it and I will still make it. And I think that's what hopefully some listeners will get, is like, no matter how many people are listening, whether it's you
Uh-huh.
or whether it's like, you know, just 5 people or 10 people, as
Mhm.
long as you like it, that's all you can really do. That's all you can really ask for.
Keep it moving, people. You heard it right here on After Five Radio with QC, also known
Yep.
as Quiet Child. Thank you
Yep. Yep.
so much, Tulani, for coming
Of
through. It was
course.
such a pleasure and an honor to get to know who Tulani is, what we should expect, the trio of the family.
Of course. Of course. Expect it.
I love
Thank
it.
you so much for having me. It was great to talk to you, and just super big pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Awesome. It
Thank
was also a pleasure to talk to you. I was like, oh man, I am actually
you.
going to be talking to Tulani, guys.
This is
No,
so
that is
awesome.
so,
Yeah,
so
thank you
amazing.
so
And I
much.
look forward to meeting you in the future in person as
Of
well.
course. Of
It'll be
course.
so, so amazing to meet you, because, same industry, you just never know,
Yeah. It will
right?
happen for sure. It'll happen for sure.
Will definitely happen. So that is your guy, Tulani, also known as Quiet Child, who is their household name, the Kachingwe family with Tinashe and Kuzai coming soon, guys, coming soon.
Yep.
Watch for that. And do you want to introduce the next song that you and your sister sang, Ride the Wave? You can introduce it to the listeners, and I will play it.
You're here listening on After Five Radio. My name is Quiet Child. This is Ride the Wave featuring Tinashe. Enjoy the day, enjoy your Saturday, and keep it moving.
Awesome. Enjoy it.